Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about accents and accent rules. So in Greek, there are actually 3 accents. So there's the acute, which goes in this direction. There's the circumflex, which looks like this. And finally there's the grave, which goes in this direction. So let's just say you had a word, say made. This is the acute, circumflex, and the grave. So accents, they pretty much determine where the emphasis of the word is going to lie. So which syllable you emphasize. That's what the accents do. Now accents, they usually go on just the last 3 syllables of a word. So let's use the word basileia as an example. So basileia. So you have a syllable here, syllable here, syllable here. So the accents, they can go on this one, they can go on this one, and on this one. It's the last 3. Now these syllables, they actually have formal names. So this one is known as the ultima. It's the last one. It's the ultima. This one's the penult. And this one's the antepenult. Ante meaning preceding, so it precedes the penult, and ultima is the final one. So your accents, they can simply go on these 3, and each of these accents, they have a specific syllable that they can go on. So let's just talk about the accent rules. So first of all, the first rule states that the acute accent can go on the last 3 syllables. The circumflex can go on the last 2 syllables, and the grave can go only on the last syllable. So let's just write out basileia again. So basileia. Syllable, syllable, syllable. So in this case, you can have an acute here, you can have an acute here, and you can have one here. A circumflex, you can have here, you can have a circumflex there, and the grave can only go on this one here. So that's the first rule. So rule number 2, a circumflex can only be on a long syllable. So if it's a diphthong or if it's a long vowel. So let's just look at this word here, doulé. So it can go here, but it can't go here because this is short. So the circumflex cannot go on this syllable here. It can only go on this syllable. So that's the second rule. Third rule, if the ultima is long, the antepenult cannot be accented. If the penult is accented, it must have the acute. It's a mouthful, but let's just look at a word. So apostolou. So you notice here that the ultima is long. So the way that we can divide this into syllables, so first of all, this is the first syllable, the second syllable, third syllable, and that's the 4th syllable. So the antepenult cannot be accented according to this section of rule 3. The penult, however, if it is accented, it has to have the acute. Now if you remember rule number 1, the penult can be accented with a circumflex. However, since the ultima is long, the penult has to be accented with an acute. So that's rule number 3. Rule number 4, if the ultima is short, a long ultima, if accented, must have the circumflex. So let's look at this word here, dule. So this would be wrong because the ultima is short. So since the ultima is short and the penult, so this is the penult syllable, this one has to have a circumflex. So the correct accent to put there would actually be a circumflex. So you do that. Can't put an acute because you have a short ultima. So if you notice a common theme in these last 2 rules, you look at the ultima. The ultima will help you determine what the accents should be. Rule number 5, a long ultima can have the acute or the circumflex. So let's just use the word apostolio again. Apostolio. So you see here a long ultima. So the ultima can have either a circumflex or an acute. So it can have an acute or it can have a circumflex. So it can be denoted with that accent there, or it can have the circumflex. Doesn't matter. Both are permissible. Number 6, an acute on an ultima is changed to a grave if there is a word following, if it's following without punctuation. So let's just say you have ta, this word here, that has the acute accent. Then you add another word, thelema, in this case, this accent will be changed. So now it's going to be ta, thelema. So if you notice here, this acute accent was changed into a grave accent. So that's it for the accents. Now, one thing to note, these accents, they're simply rules that tell you where accents can go. But you can have multiple options. In the next video, we're going to have some practice problems. So we're going to see where you can put accents. But in terms of knowing where to put them, these rules don't tell us that information. They simply tell us where we can't put them. That's it. So they're restrictive, but they don't specify which syllable actually receives which accents. So that's it.